who is another fucking douchebag, who's so like a sociopath, goddamn fucking narcissist. Oh, I
say what
hate
you mean, Rose. Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg Podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our savage take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Hi, everybody. It's Rose.
And Daniel.
Welcome back to the SaVeg Podcast.
A very fun-filled episode, I might say.
Oh my God, you guys. So you guys loved our discussion of Love is Blind 2.
Well, and actually, to be honest, when we did Love is Blind, the original as well.
It was also loved.
I think that Tiger King also got some love. I think people just love us talking about TV shows.
Okay, so maybe that's going to be your new business model.
But the thing with that, like, and as you guys know, like some of these TV series and shows, they take time to watch, right? Like, if we were doing this every week, like I feel like we'd run out of shows.
Oh, we can't do it every week,
exactly.
But maybe once a month, you know, because ain't nobody got time. Okay?
Ain't nobody got time to be watching these shows. Although somehow I was able to binge all of the shows.
Did you watch it really fast?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I was just like, fuck
I don't know.
it.
You watch a lot of television for someone that says you don't have time to watch television.
I don't watch that much television.
I don't know. I feel like you do. You're always like, oh yeah, I saw that.
Mean as hell.
Anyway, you guys, so we want to discuss the ultimatum. Here's the thing. I always am hesitant, okay? Because like we discussed, you know, it's a waste of time. And all these shows are very trashy. And they don't really amount to anything in terms of, you know, raising our intelligence level.
In definitely fact, not. If anything, they probably reverses
yes.
our intelligence level like 3 notches.
Exactly. But I also kind of enjoy discussing these from like a, you know, societal perspective, maybe. And also the reason, you know, I kind of use it as this podcast as an excuse. I'm like, I actually told Daniel, I was like, should we watch The Ultimatum so that we can talk about it on the podcast?
I know, and I was like, okay, fine.
Yes, but it was a chaotic disaster.
Oh my God.
But it was fantastic in its own way.
Yes.
So we will discuss it. But first, what are we talking about, Daniel?
Well, first, guys.
First,
if you. Oh yeah.
We got some white claws. I feel like, well, here's
enjoy.
another reason why we shouldn't do reality show reviews every week, because every time we do it, I want to have a drink, and it could lead to a lot of drunken mess.
You know, it's funny.
Messes.
It's funny you say that. There was a YouTuber that I was watching for a while, and he did like reviews. I think I want to say on music videos
While drinking.
Yeah, and he was like getting so drunk though all the time. And then eventually he like had to stop for his health.
It's like a problem, right?
Yeah, because like you can't like do this. Like the good thing is we record this once a week, but still.
Yeah, and like if you're a YouTuber and then you want to you want to put out content like 2-3 times a week.
I mean, you can't be binging that.
Yeah,
often.
and then like and also like I like to actually drink outside of, you know, recording a podcast.
Cheers.
We thought we'd be classy and put it in a wine glass, although I don't have the stainless steel ones like they always drink from on the show.
Well, what is with that? Is it just so you can't see what they're drinking?
Man. I have no idea.
Because they had that. Didn't they have that also in Love is Blind?
I'm not sure, but I definitely noticed it in The Ultimatum.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Ultimatum was like that was.
I was
their
like,
thing.
why? Yeah, and like every restaurant too. I was like, do they just like ask them to use stainless steel? Because I've never seen this at restaurants ever.
I wonder if it is though, just to conceal what they're drinking.
You might be right, actually.
Yeah, so that you can't tell if they're having wine or if they're just drinking water.
But I was thinking, I was like. Because they're in like, what is it, Texas?
Yeah.
So they're in Texas. I was like, is it because it's like really hot over there, so they want to keep it cool? No, that doesn't make sense either. Anyways, you're probably right. I think they're trying to conceal it.
Yeah, just so that you don't know, like if they're having hard alcohol, they don't want to be judged. You know. But before we jump into this, guys,
we have a little story.
Well, we have 2 stories. Not 2 stories. I can't even talk today apparently.
That's not new.
If you're not already, guys, check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. We do send these episodes out a week early, and all of our content on there is ad-free. And also, in addition, you get a bonus episode every single week. We're actually recording the bonus episode after this episode right now for the April exclusive.
We don't know what we're going to talk about yet. But we'll see. It might be something juicy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little juicy gem.
Maybe some gossipy stuff. You know?
Yeah. But anyway, guys,
We'll
check that out. It starts at only $3, as low as $3 a month. So
yay.
yeah. And without further ado, what's our first story, Rose? What are we talking about?
Oh, so we do want to discuss one like minor story, I guess. So it's basically we heard in the news that Netflix, is this like confirmed?
I think it's still like on
Okay.
I think it's like in the drawing board for Netflix.
Yeah.
They haven't like officially been like, we are 100% doing this. I think it's more like in the rumor mill.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it seems that they are thinking of releasing ads,
Yes.
commercials. And at first when I read it, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't touch our precious Netflix.
Well, here's the thing. Oh, they always do this though, don't they?
I know.
They always do this. You know,
Yeah.
every single platform, they start ad free and then they'll add it on once you already get hooked and dependent on the show or the product. They add ads. But the thing is, we pay for it.
Well, this is what. But if you think about it though, like, what about cable?
True, it is.
You pay
true.
for cable, and cable's quite expensive actually.
is
like
true,
I think, and I think the cable is gonna have to shift their model because more and more people are ditching cable. Because like for the price of cable, it's like usually I don't know like $100 a month or something.
It's very expensive,
depending on how many channels you have. But you can get like Netflix, Amazon Prime, something else, Hulu
True.
for like $30-$40, right?
True.
Per month. Oh God, I'm turning into Rose.
Yeah, you're turning into me.
What is going on?
I'm the one with the throat problems.
You are.
What you do this weekend? Anyway.
Okay, Rose. Anywho.
Are you turning red there?
I am turning red. You probably get
You're matching your shirt.
I am.
Anyways. God damn, Daniel, you got the vid or what? Okay, we're not allowed to joke about that yet.
No,
okay.
we're not. But what I was gonna say, you made me lose my train of thought now.
I mean, your train of thought was already lost.
Oh God damn! This is gonna be a chaotic episode. I can already tell.
Okay, so you were saying that cable is expensive.
Oh, right. So I was saying cable is expensive, and like for these, but and you pay a lot for cable, but yet there's still ads on cable, like
and
you
a
get
lot of them.
a lot of fucking ads. So I'm like,
True.
The cable model, like up until now, it's been like it must have been such a big moneymaker because not only did they get the subscription fees, they also got all the ad revenue for those channels. Like it was huge. Whereas now it's like people are paying for things like Netflix and Amazon. And like I expect if I'm paying for it, like I don't want to be bombarded with ads.
True. Now that the thing is, before that was the norm, right? So cable, you pay for the cable and then you get the ads. That was the norm.
Yeah.
Now we've like shifted and it's become the norm to not have the ads on Netflix.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's more of like a reaction like, oh my God, like that sucks because we're used to Netflix being ad free. And that's one of the benefits and why it was better than cable and why I was able to beat cable.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing too. Like, I'm sorry guys, but like, I don't want to be bombarded with ads all the time. It's just it's to the point where it's like I remember in one class they were like, oh, like we get bombarded with like I don't know 20,000 different images a day or something ridiculous,
right?
And it's like overwhelming, and it's like on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere you look. It's you go to your emails, there's just always ads everywhere.
I know, but that's the model we've created. So can we really complain at the same time? Like I don't know. It's like it is necessary in a capitalist model. To have ads and market, right?
I guess like,
and if any of us had a product, we would use advertising.
Of course.
So it's a bit like even us, like on our YouTube videos, we have ads on them.
This is true. Yep.
And well, if you don't want ads, you subscribe for Patreon.
Well, that's actually a very
good point. And we're not going to add ads on Patreon.
This is true. But that's what I mean. Like if you're paying for a subscription service, that it should be ad free.
And that's kind of like how it was sold to us, I feel.
Yeah.
But what we did kind of read up on it a little bit right before this, and it did say that the original, like if you're already, I mean, I'm not sure if I read it correctly, but it seems that if you're already subscribed to Netflix and you're already paying the subscription, nothing will change. Like you're not going to get the ads because what they're going to do is offer a lower priced model with ads. So in that case, I can kind of be okay with it.
Yeah, I think so. Like,
but then now they're going to up the price probably for everything.
Yeah. They're definitely going to, they've already upped the price quite a bit.
They do it
like,
all the time, like which again, I kind of understand.
Like, didn't it start? I remember Netflix used to start at like $6.99.
It was so cheap. Yeah, it was around there. It was like $7 or $8.
And now it's like $16-17.
I think something like that.
Yeah.
And then initially, I don't actually know how it was initially, but nowadays they have like, you can have multiple users, whereas before you just kind of like share the password and then like everyone like watches.
Yeah.
And now you have multiple users, and then if you watch, if you can only view like 2 screens at a time, and if you go over that, then you have to pay a subscription. So if you want to, so you have to pay an extra. So that's what my family does because like we have multiple people, and like often we were, coming up with that. Anytime someone would try to watch it, it'd be like, oh, already 2 screens are being used and you can't watch it. Anyways, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's good if somebody wants to pay a little bit less.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But again, still, it's like...
Yeah. Well, what I'm wondering is, because my mom was saying that it's probably because they are trying to compete with other, because nowadays Netflix used to have the monopoly, right?
Oh yeah, it was
and now there's like Apple TV, there's Disney Plus and all these other kind of services.
Hulu,
that are,
Disney Plus.
Exactly. Very similar. Crave.
Yeah, Crave, all of them.
So now all the shows are kind of dispersed. So people have to pick and choose which one. Like very few people subscribe to all of them.
Yeah.
Like I only have Netflix because again, I don't really want to like watch so much TV.
You have Prime too, don't you?
But I have Amazon Prime for other reasons. I don't really watch Prime, but like it's there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, sure. So I do have Prime technically, but I wouldn't subscribe to Prime for the video part.
Yeah.
I only use it for Amazon Prime.
And I guess you also have YouTube Premium, right? Is that another subscription?
Yes, I have YouTube Premium.
So you have a few, Rose.
Yeah, but YouTube Premium it's not really a competitor, not really a direct competitor to Netflix.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
YouTube Premium, I just already watch a lot of YouTube. So for me, it makes sense to have YouTube Premium. But with Netflix, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so because they're having all these, competitors, they're probably like they need to have, I don't know, they need to make money somehow. I don't know. Maybe they're losing money. I heard they're losing money.
Well, they were. I did hear this as well. Like Netflix for the longest time because they buy all these shows and develop all this content as well.
Sure.
Which costs like, I don't know, billions of dollars.
Yes.
And I think for the first while, Netflix was like very unprofitable.
Yeah.
Like it was like losing money. And then I don't know about now. Like maybe they've gotten to a point where they're like making money now.
Sure.
But again, I don't know.
I don't know how it works.
But this is the hard thing with these streaming services is they constantly have to license new content,
right,
to stay with it and get new subscribers, right? Like it's a numbers game.
But like they've had some huge shows, so I don't think that they're really losing money. They're just being greedy. Mm-hmm. Well, they know that the thing is like when you have they're probably thinking like I don't know how the model works, right?
Yeah.
But you have something like Squid Game, for example.
Yeah.
Like so many people watched it.
Yeah.
They're probably thinking if we had a few ads on there, how much money could they possibly they could make so much more money.
Yeah.
Right? Because like advertisers would pay a lot of money
for those spots.
Exactly. So it's like Super Bowl. Like the reason why people pay millions of dollars to get like
for
a 30-second ad.
It's crazy.
It's absolute it's so insane. So and I mean who knows how, actually valuable those ads are.
Yeah.
But, that was the model, but it's interesting. Let us know, guys. What do you think?
What do you think about Netflix potentially getting ads for lower tiered subscriptions?
I like that part. I like the fact that they offer the lower tier, but at the same time, I know for a fact that they're just going to raise the price for everything. I bet.
The upper tier is going to go up.
Yes.
The lower tier is going to be like probably what it is right now.
Exactly.
And then they're going to be like, it's your choice. You can choose what you want to do. So...
And I also want to know, though, how frequently are they going to show the ads? Is it going to be like TV where it's like literally every 10 minutes? Do you remember?
TV
it was
horrible.
So bad.
Like my parents still have like a little bit of cable. They reduced their subscription like immensely because they have like Netflix and Prime and everything else. But they still have a few channels and like, but they have like a thing where you can like record the TV. So they always record the shows they want to watch so that they can fast forward through the ads.
Yes.
Because it's literally ridiculous. Like you'll watch like literally, I want to say like 2 minutes of the show. And then it's like 2 minutes of ads.
I know. Some of them are so bad.
I was like, this is crazy.
It's so bad.
Like,
I can't remember the last time I watched television though, but
I know it's like an episode of like a 30-minute spot. A 30-minute splot, guys. Basically.
God damn. We having throat issues. We having talking issues. Okay, what would be a 30-minute splot?
So a 30-minute splot. The TV show is actually like, I don't know, 16 to 18 minutes. And the rest of it's fucking commercials.
Oh my God, seriously. It's ridiculous.
Like it's actually crazy.
But that's why TV is failing, right? It's because you have to keep like changing it up and innovating.
Oh yeah, you have to change the model. And the thing is, I think especially cable nowadays, like I don't know how many of you guys have cable, like maybe a lot of you still do, but like just knowing from my friend circle and the people that I speak with, pretty much no one has cable, or if they do, they have a very, very reduced service because cable got to the point though where it was getting greedy, and I think that they just charged so much.
I know.
Like my parents were paying like I want to say over $100.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have that many channels. I swear to God, they had like 50 channels or something.
I know, it's ridiculous.
And then my parents were like, well, why the hell are we paying this much when we have Netflix, we have Prime?
Exactly.
We have all these other things that we could be watching. We're not watching TV 24/7.
Yeah.
Contrary to popular belief, Rose. God, what is going on?
I don't know. Welcome to my life, honestly. My throat's
really
always like, my throat's always clogged. I don't know why.
What if it's because like that workout I did? It's like I'm like dehydrated and like
maybe. You guys.
Anyway, but
So,
yeah, like,
that's happening.
But I definitely think that cable needs to shift and change their model.
I mean, I don't even know if it's going to survive, to be honest. We're really moving toward like a subscription model.
Oh yeah.
I think it's
And
interesting because you do say that, like, yeah, because people our age don't have cable.
No.
Okay, it's such a waste of money. You're right. It's like literally, if you could get all of those services for probably cheaper than cable. I don't know how much it is now. They probably had to make it cheaper.
Yeah.
But it is just ridiculously expensive.
It's stupid. Like honestly, cable got to be the point where it was like stupidely expensive, especially if you're like, oh, I want to add I don't know what the sports channel
there's like
is,
extra channels.
but there's like all these channels. So you could literally be paying like $140 a month.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Like it was crazy at one point. I don't know
know
what it's like now, but like it's kind of like it's like a dying model, I feel like, in terms of like, think about like landlines. Like telephone.
I know. So my parents got rid of both.
Yeah.
So they don't have cable or landline anymore.
Well, pretty much nobody I know. My parents still have their landline.
Oh yeah.
But they're gonna get rid of it anytime soon because they don't really use it anymore. Even their like relatives in like the UK,
right?
They use WhatsApp.
I know.
So it's like,
I know, it's crazy.
You just,
it's all shifting. It's kind of crazy because I want to know like what it will look like when we're like, you know, our parents' age, because I feel like all of these things that maybe we grew up like knowing, like landlines, and I mean that's pretty much gone already. So many. By the time we are older, like no one's gonna have landlines.
I know, it's crazy.
You know?
It's crazy to think, like, because if you think about it, phones were around, like you had the rotary phones, everything else for so long, and then it just like in a short period of time.
Yeah.
With the invention of the cell phones, it's like boom, gone.
I know. Well, I mean, even in the last like 20 years, the amount of technology, it's like it skyrocketed in such a short period of time. Not necessarily a good thing. But I think one of the things about cable that we can't go back to cable because now we're used to this model where we can pick and choose what to watch at that moment.
At that time, you don't have to wait for a TV show.
I know. But like that was like before that was the norm. So we were used to it. So we were willing to pay for it. But now that we've gone to this, it's like we're like spoiled children that are not going to, you know, go back to.
We don't have that. What's that delayed gratification or whatever?
Exactly.
Because I remember, honestly, and I talked about this before on the podcast, but like me and my parents, for example, one of the things like when Survivor, like I'm dating myself, but when it first came out, I remember that we used to have a Survivor night. And I think, I want to say it was like a Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know when it was back then. But that night, me and my family, we would like get a pizza or, you know, do something like this and all watch Survivor. And we had to be at the TV at 8:00 because that's when the show started, you know?
Yeah,
like,
you have to watch it at that time.
Because that was before you could even record TV as well. So it's like you just had to, you really, and the TV times made like you had to plan your shit.
Yeah, the TV times.
Yeah, you have to be like, okay, when is my favorite show on? When is that movie on that I want to watch?
Oh God, yeah. I remember, yeah. And I would do the same thing with like American Idol. I was like obsessed with American Idol.
So you'd be like, figure out what days it's on and you're like, okay, I have to be here at that time. Yeah.
Clay Aiken. I loved Clay Aiken. Anyways, look at us reminiscing about the good old days again.
Yeah, damn, we'd be like grandparents.
Anyway, you guys, so okay, are we gonna jump in?
I think we should dive right in, guys.
Oh my God. So first of all, you guys, by the way, if you haven't watched The Ultimatum on Netflix, we're going to be discussing that today. So of course there's going to be spoilers.
Alert.
So if you haven't watched it, you can still listen to this. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. But if you want to watch it first, then I don't know, listen to this after you watch it.
And by the way, Rose, I'm giving you an ultimatum later.
What's your ultimatum?
I'm just kidding.
We gonna get married? Oh, God dang. You gonna be my platonic life partner? God dang.
We gonna adopt some children?
You don't need to give me an ultimatum.
God damn.
We could get married right now.
I mean, you don't want to go on the show and get tens of thousands of followers? Hundreds of thousands of followers?
Oh my God, there should be a show about gay guys and their straight girlfriends. We would win.
Oh God damn. Maybe.
And then we can. Anyways, you guys. Okay, so if you haven't seen the show, let me just give you a little synopsis.
Give us the premise, Rose.
Let me give the premise. Okay, so basically, these are the same makers of the classy show we like to call Love is Blind.
Yep, because love is really blind, you know? Mm-hmm.
And so because of the success of Love is Blind, they're like, let's do another shitty show.
Yeah.
So basically the premise is that there's multiple couples. I can't remember how many. So they bring in all these couples that are all in their 20s, FYI. But, you know, that's not important. But anyways, they bring all these couples in. And then basically one person in this couple wants to get married and one person does not. Or feels like they're not ready yet.
Yeah.
But one person is like, I want to get married now. So basically, one person is issuing the ultimatum, an ultimatum where basically we either get married or we break up right now.
Yeah.
So, but they all show up, and what happens is they like break up for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And all the couples kind of go their merry way, and then they pair up with other people.
Couples. Yeah, that's so weird.
I know, it's so weird. So they pair up with the other contestants on the show
to have a fake marriage.
to have like what they call a trial marriage. So they basically, I mean, it's obviously not a marriage at all. They just like live together for 3 weeks. Like you just have a roommate for 3 weeks. Okay. That's not a trial marriage, but okay. But yeah, they like basically pair up with another person. Have a trial marriage, and then after this trial marriage they go back and I know it sounds so ridiculous the more I explain it, and then they go back and live with their original partner for another 3 weeks just to see how it goes after that. And then at the very end they decide what to do, like whether or not they want to stay together or whether or not they want to break up. That's the premise. Now
God damn, I honestly, first of all, oh my God. It's just so dumb because like you have the first like Rose, you laid out really well, but like the first week the first week the couples are all go on multiple dates with everyone that's there. Right. So they kind of they aren't broken up yet. They like go on all of these dates. And then from all of those dates, they have to, and there's only like, I think there was like 8 couples maybe.
I think there's about 8 couples.
Something like this. And
let me look up the names of the couples.
Yeah. From this 1 week period, they have to decide who they want to go on this trial marriage with for 3 weeks. And that person also has to pick you though. So if you like say their name and they don't say yours, then you don't get to pair up with them. Right. So it could be very awkward. And you have to,
and it was.
Yeah, it got really awkward because they all have like a dinner after the week, and each person stands up and they say why they want to go and have a trial marriage with the person that they met or like connected with. And the thing is, I'm like, this is like the whole Love is Blind thing. Like literally talking to someone for 3 days and they're like, I'm going to get married.
I know.
And it's like, okay, I've met someone for like 1 week, not even. And I'm going to go get a fake marriage with them for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And it's this idea that like somehow this new person is going to shine some light on your current relationship. Whereas like, if you're already doubting your relationship, anything that comes along, there's a lot of charming, charismatic people out there.
Yeah.
So anyone new that's shiny and very good looking, like all these people are.
So attractive. Can we talk about how hot the cast was?
They're all very fucking hot. So of course you're going to get like, ooh, like, you know, there's this new shiny penny, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is my first qualm of this show, but I also think there's a reason why this is the way it is. So my biggest complaint about Love is Blind is that the people, like, it doesn't actually do the experiment that they think it's doing or they say it's doing, which is basically like, is love truly blind? Like, do people not care about your looks? But then only having people that are conventionally attractive.
Yeah.
But this show, giving an ultimatum, but all the people are in their 20s, some of them in their early 20s.
This is when I was like, hey.
And dating for like a year.
I know.
And a half, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
No one gives, I'm sorry, in the real world, no one is giving an ultimatum after 2 years. Very few, unless you are in your 30s or 40s.
But this is it. This is what's so ridiculous about this show, guys, is like, we're talking about like, especially some of the people on the show were so young. And I'm like, bitch, why are you rushing to have kids, to get married? Like, you are 23 years old. Like, I get it that there is like a biological clock, but like you literally have years to have children. So like, why don't you maybe you want to get married, but like travel the world, do some shit first before you have children. Yeah.
Or just like be mature. Like, like you're just so immature. And here's the thing. But I said the same thing. I was like, why don't they find like 30-year-olds or like people that actually, because people do give ultimatums, but usually it's like maybe after 8 years of dating or 10 years and they're like 35 or, you know, like their biological clock is actually ticking. Yeah. And they're like really serious and they're like, oh my God, you've been dating me for like 15 years. Why are you not getting married? That would be very interesting. But then I read somewhere or somebody said something and I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Someone that would actually go on a reality show like this is obviously not really someone that, like, they're probably not actually, do you know what I mean? Like, they want fame. Yeah. They want notoriety. They want to be, you know, famous on Instagram or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they're also willing to kind of like embarrass themselves. Like, who cares, right? Yeah. Someone that's actually potentially like wanting to give another person an ultimatum, that's like kind of embarrassing, you know? Like, I wouldn't want to put that on television.
Well, exactly. Because in some ways, like, again, like not to like knock people that have been in this situation and have given ultimatums, but like you're right. Like if I was with my partner for 10 years, the last thing I'd really want to do is go on a show being like, he doesn't want to marry me, but I'm going to tell him he has to, otherwise we're breaking up. It's like,
Exactly.
it's almost like, I feel like, and this is going to sound bad and people might take this the wrong way, but like by issuing an ultimatum, like you're kind of undermining your own worth in a way, like by saying like, you've been with me for so long, why aren't you proposing to me? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like in some ways, you're
but
like,
then aren't you almost standing up for yourself, being like, I'm going to break up with you if you don't?
That's true, actually.
But I mean, obviously, I think most people will say they don't really like the idea of an ultimatum.
Yeah. Well, and actually they say like majority of the time ultimatums don't work.
I mean, because if you are at the point where you need to issue an ultimatum, it's like, you know, if they already voice that they don't want to marry you, then like you should just break up with them probably.
But like at the same time, and all of these relationships as well, like they've been together for a year, maybe 2, and they're already having like so many problems.
Oh my God, like we're gonna dig deep, you guys. This might be a long episode. Okay.
And I was like, if you're already having all these fucking problems, like
at the age of 23, 25, it's like you're already fighting all the time.
Yeah.
Like, bitch.
There were a couple older people on there. Like there was one guy that was like 30, I think.
Oh my God. There was one guy that was 30, you guys.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking.
I know. But everyone else was like super young.
Oh my God. And all the couples, honestly, like as I was watching this, I was like, literally no one should be together. Like none of these couples should ever get married.
Were you shocked at the ones that ended up together?
Well, I mean, I wasn't shocked because I've realized from these shows that they do this editing where they kind of like try to push a narrative before the final result to create a shock factor.
Yeah.
So I feel like the way that they edit it is only showing, for example, if they knew that like, you know, a couple was going to get married, they only show the negative parts beforehand.
Yes.
So that it's like shocking because literally the 2 couples that like got married, they were like fighting up until the end.
Right up to the bitter
like
end.
Hated each other, and all of a sudden they get married and everything shifts. So clearly we're missing like a huge chunk of information.
Yeah. And then the other couples where
then they look like they were like starting to
bond and get together and you're like,
Exactly.
oh, they might get married. And then they don't end up together.
Exactly. So it's like, to me, I feel like it was the same thing with Love is Blind, right? They always make it seem like, ooh, like they're like lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get married, and then they do like a twist.
Yeah.
So I feel like I always kind of like look for those things now because
we have to remember that at the end of the day, it's a show, right? They're trying to get like
Exactly.
traction, and they're trying to get like like you said, a shock factor, or, you know, they want people to like, I don't know, they want people to be surprised at the end.
Exactly.
You know?
They want to keep people like hooked, right? Because they're like, ooh, what's going to happen? Ooh.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go through the couples.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you the original couples, you guys.
Okay. So who was the first couple?
I don't know. I'm not going to go in any order, but so we have Alexis and Hunter.
Oh,
so
God.
This is the couple that actually did not do the full experience.
Yeah.
So Alexis is the stereotypical kind of gold digging blonde.
Yes. Well, the funny thing is too, she went on all these dates.
Kind of hilarious.
She was, but she was like went on all these dates, and again, this could be the editing, but also she did say this, right? Like she was always like every single date she went on, it was a financial. Like she's like, oh, the guy has to be making more money. Hunter, who was her partner, she's like, he doesn't make more money. Like it's a problem. That's why part of the reason they didn't want to get married. Like, well, she wanted to get married, but she's like, he needs to make more money, and all the guys were just like, oh God. You know?
Basically, like one of the first things that she said to the guys is like, I need someone that's like, you know, finances are really important, which is like fine, but it was like a huge emphasis.
Yeah.
And what I found really like funny to me was, I don't even think it was just this couple. It was like this couple, and then there was maybe another couple that basically was like, well, I don't want to move in with my partner unless I get a ring on my finger.
Oh yeah, that was. I think this was this.
Yeah, it was this, and I think there was like another. But basically, they kind of kept emphasizing the fact that, oh, I'm gonna have to live with this guy, and I'm gonna be doing all his dishes and all his cooking and all his. I'm like, bitch, why do you want to marry this guy? Like, I'm sorry. Well, then no wonder you want him to make so much money, because you're gonna be doing all the fucking housework, and you're gonna have to stay home all the time.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is too, it's like, again, this is my own perspective, and like I know other people think differently about this, but I'm really like adamant. Like when I do get a partner, like I have to live with them, because part of life is day to day, you know, like your day to day living together. You have to see, like, when it comes to like stressful situations, meal prepping, having to stay organized, cleaning the house, all of this stuff, like it can add like extra strain and stress to a relationship. So I feel like it's really important to like at least live with them for a little bit to see what they're like.
That's why I couldn't understand. I'm like, so basically so basically Hunter, who like you don't really see much of Hunter. He's kind of like a, you know, like
He's
a
very
regular
quiet,
dude.
yeah.
He was saying like, I want to live together first before we get engaged,
Yeah.
which I think is the most reasonable thing in the world.
Yeah.
For the reasons you just said. And then she's like, no, I don't want to live with him because then they act like getting a ring is some kind of like prize. Like they're winning something.
Yeah.
This is not, like, they think of this as some kind of, a wedding is like, they're only thinking of marriage as like a wedding. Like, I want to be a bride that, you know, I want to go, you know, walk in my white dress and, you know, do a bridesmaid party.
Yeah.
Like, they think of it as like a milestone prize. They're not thinking of it as like a lifelong partnership, which it is.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, well, what am I getting out of it by living with this guy?
Yeah.
Whereas that's not how you should be thinking.
I
You're
know.
building a life together. Like,
It was crazy.
what do you mean? What are you getting out of it?
And-
Like,
and
don't you want to live with this person?
Yeah, like
Like,
this,
I don't
this,
understand.
this is the thing. A marriage is like a partnership, right? And like as part of it, you should see, like, I think it's important to see like how you live together, how you can like
Yes.
combine your lives together before you actually take that last final step, I guess. You don't like, I don't know. I'm like starting to be on the fence about marriage anyway. But
I
like,
know.
But like taking that final step where legally you're committed to each other now, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you have that like kind of legal backing or whatever it is. But like, up until that point, like you need to see what your lives are like together, right?
Exactly.
Like that's why I just don't understand this, like these concept of like not wanting to live together till you're married, engaged, all this stuff. But I guess everyone's different. But like for me, that's like that's a deal breaker. Like I will not ever marry
100%.
anyone unless I'm living with them.
Exactly. It's like you're legally bound to this person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like what really. It's like if you want to legally bind somebody into your life, like you might want to live with them first.
Exactly. You might want to like, because that's, and also they say like you don't know somebody until you live with them, right? Because like when you like, let's say you go on dates and you do all this other stuff, most of the time, and let's say even if you stay at each other's apartments and stuff, like you're kind of in like a bubble of like, not reality, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas if you live together day to day, then the reality's there. The dishes pile up.
That's how it's gonna be.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The food needs to be cooked all the time. The bathroom needs to get cleaned. Like that's when real life steps in, and that's when you guys really have to work together,
right?
To like see what you guys are like living together. But that's just my perspective.
I also think the same.
Do you think with this couple, like, because this couple ended up.
So what happened with them is so initially, like Daniel mentioned, at first they like break up. They kept calling it a breakup too, which was so annoying. They're like, oh yeah, so you're all gonna be like, now you're broken up from your exes. I'm like, dude, it's a fucking 3-week experience. Like, can you stop? Anyways, they're so dramatic.
They are.
So they like break up and they start dating other people. Or like speed dating basically.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, after a few days, they have this like big awkward ass dinner where like people select each other's partners.
They have to stand up and they have to select somebody, right?
And then Hunter does this like huge surprise.
But do you think, okay, so I was going to ask you, so you know how Alexis stands up, and up until this point, she really liked Colby, this one guy.
Right.
She'd been on a date with him. He didn't like her at all. And he made it very clear to her. He was actually like in the beginning, he was like, no, sorry. Like, I just don't, I can't remember what exactly what he said.
He was pretty nice about it in the beginning.
Yeah. And then she like pushed him on it. She's like, I don't understand why you don't like me. Like, I don't get it. Like,
yeah, she was very aggressive.
Like pushing on him. And then he's like, I'm not attracted to you, which is like the worst thing to say. I don't know why he didn't just tell her, like, you have different ideas. You know what I mean? Like being
right. Like we have different values.
Exactly. Like you clearly value,
he was
like
being honest.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, she was pushing for honesty. So
yeah, true. And he was like, but
don't
anyway,
ask for it.
Exactly. I think part of the thing, because then she, at this dinner, she stood up and she was like, I just want to be with Hunter, right? Like she made this whole.
Is that what she said? Okay.
Yeah, I seem to remember her making this whole speech.
Because she didn't have anyone that was like.
But this is what I think. Yeah. I think had she met somebody there that like a Colby, and Colby was down to do the experiment with her, would that proposal have happened?
Well, maybe he would have still done it. I don't know if she would have said yes at that moment.
Yeah, because maybe she would have been like, because I feel like both the proposals. Well, I feel like Hunter and Alexis might have been a little bit more sincere.
Yes.
But Nate and Lawrence, who we'll go into in a minute,
right.
Like
that for sure.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Like he was just like he was such a prick.
Oh my God. Okay. We'll talk about Nate. We have things to say.
Oh, we do.
Okay. So Hunter just gets up and is like, I actually just want to marry Alexis.
Yeah.
And then they just get engaged right there on the spot. I guess he was like, oh my God, those 3 days were just the clarity I needed. Yeah. I'm like, bitch, first of all, you went on like very shallow ass dates for like 3 days. What are you? We all go on fucking 3-4 dates and we're like, you know, like we don't fall in love at first sight.
No, bros, we have and life-changing epiphany that brings brings absolute clarity after one or two dates.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes I honestly would not be surprised if all these couples were just doing like they were putting on a show, right? Because again, I go into this with a lot of skepticism because I'm like, maybe they just wanted to get some notoriety. And that's why Alexis was very, very like, controversial, even in her very short period of time. Yeah. It could have been that. Yeah. Anyway, so they got engaged. So they were basically off the show. Yeah. Okay. I guess all their problems are solved. They're going to live together. It's going to be fantastic.
Happily ever after, and they're gone.
Yeah. 25 and 28 were their ages. Okay.
Oh my God. Hunter looked older than 28.
He looked a bit older. Yes.
She also looked older than 25.
Oh, she looked a lot older.
Some people were like,
she was doing way too much with her face. Like, she was a pretty girl. Okay,
she was pretty. Yeah,
she could have been very gorgeous, but I think it was a little too much plastic on the face.
This is the thing. I think like guys, there's a fine line, and I think too many people are like crossing this line. Yeah, there's a fine line with a little bit of a lift and a little bit of a plumping versus duck lips. Oh God. tight faces, like, and she's 25. Like I don't understand what she's doing.
Like, listen, you can do whatever you want with your face, but I do feel like people think it looks better than it does. Yeah, it does not look good. Like,
because you know what happens though. It's like I feel like people like, for example, if you get lip plumpers, right, or fillers or whatever, you fill it. And then you get used to it at that size. And then that size now seems a little bit small to you. And you're like, maybe just a couple more. And you become desensitized to how big your lips actually get. And like, I have seen even in Calgary, so many girls now with like huge lips.
Like
that I'm
literal duck lips.
I'm like, it looks painful.
It looks so bad.
Like your lips look swollen. Like you got stung by a bee.
I know. It's so bad. I know. I can't.
Speaking of which, I was going to get my lips done though.
Oh, God damn. Yeah. And I think it's also like important to note that these trendy facial features or whatever body features, they just don't look good on everybody. Yeah. Like we need to understand. Yes, I mean, I follow trends to some degree. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to kind of know what like suits you. Like if I had duck lips, oh my God, can you imagine? No. Like I can't. Yeah. Like if I had huge lips, my face would look so bad.
It would look really, really strange.
Like it would be bad. But anyways, so that was Alexis and Hunter. And now let's talk about Nate and what's her face? She was barely on. Hold on. Lauren and Nate. Okay.
Wait, wasn't there a couple before that? I think
we got to discuss these people. Let's discuss the people that went off the show first.
Yeah. Okay, so Lauren
Nate and fucking Nate and Lauren. Yeah. I have so many problems with this couple.
Oh my God.
Okay, you go first.
So, guys, this couple, I guess the main reason and one of their biggest conflicts was that Nate was really wanting to have kids.
Which is a huge conflict.
Yeah, so he was like, and Lauren, she was really unsure about it. She's like, I don't know if I want to be a mom. Like,
was she mostly unsure or was she mostly not wanting it?
I think she was mostly not wanting it. And I think the part of the reason that came out in the show was because like Nate's like a business guy and also a bit of a dick, to be honest.
Oh my God, I hated him.
So yeah, he was like probably my least favorite guy out of all of them. And he was just like very like just one of those arrogant guys, like one of the ones that, like stereotypical. And he like basically her fear was like she's already nervous to be a mom, right? Like she's like I don't have a maternal instinct. I'm not going to be a good mom. Like I don't know. And then her thing was like once we have a baby, like Nate's going to be busy working all the time. Right. The responsibility is going to be mostly me.
So fucked up.
Which is probably what will happen when they have kids.
Yes.
Like, let's be honest.
Which is what always fucking happens.
Exactly. So
the men get all the like it's, and we know for a fact that Nate is gonna,
he's one of those.
He's just gonna 100%. Get all the nice times and then go jetting off to work. Yep. And then the mama has to, discipline the kids, feed the kids, and do everything for the kids. But anyways, my biggest problem is all these fucking men on the show, Nate, as well as Colby, were constantly trying to convince Lauren that she should have kids. Yeah. Fuck you. I'm sorry. She keeps saying she doesn't want kids or is unsure. You leave it at that. Yeah. Okay? It is her fucking decision. And it was so fucking annoying and manipulative, especially. Okay, so basically when they were doing the speed dating, Colby, who was another fucking douchebag, who was so like a sociopath, goddamn fucking narcissist.
Say what you mean, Rose.
I think Colby was my least favorite. Yeah. I mean, we don't know Nate. Okay, we only saw him for a little bit, but he was also bad.
He was horrible.
But like one of the things that really fucking got under my skin was when Colby was like, when they were in the dating phase, Colby and Lauren were like talking and they were getting along, and he just kept first of all, he was very like charming, I guess, with his words or whatnot. But he just kept saying like, oh, I feel like you're a type of woman that wants kids. Bitch, you met her today.
Yeah.
How do you know this is the type of woman that wants kids? How do you know how she is with like children? Like,
well, it's because Rose, it's similar to the pods. We're not in that experience, in that intense emotional experience. So we're never going to understand.
I just found that so insulting. Like as a woman, I'm like, you cannot tell a woman that, oh, she just needs a little convincing.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to be a great mom.
So I think also one of Lauren's apprehensions was also like what it's going to do to her body, right? Like she's kind of
right. It is scary.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing. Like you try carrying a fucking baby, Colby. Like it's just so, they're just so nonchalant about, and if somebody says they don't want kids, you need to respect this. Like it's so fucking ridiculous in 2022 that we're like convincing women that they should have kids. There's plenty of children. There's plenty of women that want children. Go date someone else.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like ultimately, like if you and your partner are together, and that is one of the big fundamentals.
That's one of the things that you should have discussed in the very beginning of your relationship.
And if one of your partner really is adamant and doesn't want kids,
exactly,
like it's not going to be a good situation if you guys do have kids.
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, most of the time, I'm sure that like if you're a good person, they'll still take care of the kid and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just find it just like really just icky when people are trying to constantly convince, and this happens to women all the time.
Yeah.
And not even just in partnerships, but just in general. Like women are always told like, oh, when are you gonna have a baby? When are you gonna have a baby? Like fucking like there's 8 billion people on this planet. There's enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to convince women that don't want babies to have babies.
Yeah.
Anyways, that part really got under my skin. So basically Nate like is obsessed with the idea of having a baby.
Yeah.
Clearly Lauren doesn't. So that was a huge conflict, which I understand. And then so they're at this dinner. Nothing was resolved.
Nope.
Okay. They're at this awkward dinner. Nate has his eye on Shaynique and what else? Who else? April. Okay. Yeah. Shaynique and April both don't want to be with Nate.
No.
They pick someone else. Yeah. And then Nate is butthurt as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And then what happens?
So he gets butthurt. He's like sitting there. He's like, what the fuck? Like just absolutely fuming. Then after he gets rejected, turns to...
And this is after the initial proposal of Hunter and...
Yeah.
What's her face?
Oh, God. What was her face?
I can't remember her name. Anyway, Hunter and... Alexis?
Yes. Hunter and Alexis.
Yes.
So anyway, he's like sitting there, turns to Madlyn, and it was like, I choose you, or something, like whisper something to her, and then she's like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah.
After he like, I think this was after all of his rejections.
Madlyn was not his girlfriend.
No. Anyway, Colby stands up, and Colby's like, I had a really good time with Lauren. I think that we could learn a lot from each other. I really want to do this experience with her, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. And then Nate, literally, as Colby's doing this, stands up, runs over to Lauren, and is like, and then he's like, and then in the like interview at the side when they like show him interviewing, he's like, I didn't want her to go with Colby. Yeah. He's a fucking prick. And so he like stood up, ran over to her, and he was like, I don't care about kids. I just want you. Let's get married. And she's like, abso-fucking-lutely.
Never mind the fact that I don't want kids and you want kids, and you're just going to abandon your fucking entire belief system. That's not going to build resentment.
No. And then it was funny because it showed them in the hotel room afterwards.
And of course.
And the first thing they were fucking discussing was the kid situation. And I was like, oh my God, this is like actually brutal.
Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
The thing is, if it was that simple, what I don't get is like, again, this is why I can't trust the genuineness of the show, because if it was that simple, like you're just going to propose. Why do you need the ultimatum? Why do you need to be on the show? Because she said yes so easily and so quickly. Yeah. So clearly she doesn't have any other qualms. Like she's not like, oh, like I don't want to marry you. Yeah. Why are you on the show? Like what the fuck?
I know.
Anyway, they're so fucking. And then Nate was so annoying.
I know.
He was just like jealous, basically. Yeah. He was jealous. He got butthurt that he didn't get chosen, and his pride was hurt. His little pride.
But I feel like also like in some ways, I think maybe Hunter and Alexis might have still got engaged. I don't know. But had Alexis had a connection with somebody on the show, I think she might have gone through with the experience. More so. And then the same with Nate. If Shaynique or someone had agreed, he would have 100%. He was
100% ready to like fucking go with Shaynique or the other chick.
April, yeah. And it was so funny because like when all this happened, April like lost her shit. And like started bawling and was like, you guys are making fun of this experiment. Like she's like, I'm here letting my boyfriend go with someone else because we need to see if we're more compatible and like all this.
She was so dramatic.
I know. And she was like, you guys are ruining this for everyone. And like she got
I know she got extra. She did
get extra. I kind of got where she's coming from in some ways.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I mean, did it require an entire mental breakdown? No.
No.
But she is 23 after all.
Well, exactly. 23 years old. Like, fucking enjoy your life for a bit. Like, not saying that kids aren't enjoyable, but they are. Like, people are like downplaying like how much work and commitment a kid is.
They see it as like a prize. Again, they just see it as like a. But
I think it's like one of those like box ticking things.
Yes,
like, have to get married.
It's like a milestone.
Have to have a kid, and if I don't do that, I'm not successful.
That's literally exactly what it is. That's why they see marriage as like some sort of prize.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, oh, if I'm gonna clean for this guy, I better have a ring on my finger, as if a ring is the prize for you cleaning for this guy.
Oh,
like
God.
what the? Anyway, so let's talk about April and Jake.
Oh, here we go.
So April is 23, Jake is 26.
Yeah.
They're babies.
Yeah.
Their brains are not fully developed.
I know. It's like
yeah.
It's crazy.
So they what do we think of them?
Well, honestly, so April issued Jake the ultimatum.
Yes.
And I see where he's coming from. Like, they'd been together for, I think, 1.5 years. Such a short fucking time. And basically, Jake was in the military for a while, and he's just, like, gotten out, I think, or something. He was, like, on a rotation or whatever. And, like, his whole thing is, like, I'm not ready to get married yet. Like, I want to go travel. I want to go do all this stuff. Like, and April's like, we need to get married and have, like, 2 kids and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm 26 years old.
Yeah.
Like, which, honestly, I get where he's coming from. I'm like, he didn't say that he wanted to break up with her, but he's like, I'm not ready to get married yet. Which
that is understandable. I don't understand why they make it seem like, oh my God, you don't love me.
I know. Oh,
like, bitch, we met last year.
You've been with me for 1.5 years, Rose. How do you don't love me?
There's food in my pantry that's been there longer.
I know. This is true. I have
like,
I have canned goods that are longer than 1.5 years. Okay, these people need to stop.
I genuinely just cannot. Like, please calm down. But again, they're here for the clout.
Yeah.
So they were very unbelievable as like a serious couple that wanted to get married. But I don't know, maybe that was just me.
And then they split up, and Jake had this connection with Ray, who was on the show.
So Jake and Ray matched. Yeah. Who was another girl.
Yeah.
And they seem to, be all lovey-dovey.
They did. They seem to have a really good balance between the two of them.
Yeah.
Connection. As much as you can on the show.
Similar,
Yeah.
And then, Jake, and the thing is, Jake was just ready.
Yeah.
It's funny because he kept saying how he didn't want to come on this experience.
Oh, my God.
And it's funny because in the reunion.
The reunion was savage.
Oh, my God. It was so uncomfortable and also, like hilarious.
Like, for
little clips.
Yeah, when they're like, so, Nate, how's the kid situation? Shall we just play a little reminder? I want kids. I want to have kids. I want to have kids. Kids. Like, so many edits of him saying this.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. And then Jake's, what was the edits for
Jake's
him?
was like, basically, like, I was dragged on the show. I didn't want to come on this show. Oh, you know how I was dragged on the show? Yeah, I really didn't want to come on this show.
I was forced on the show. I got dragged on the show. I'm here against my will.
Yeah.
Like, but literally so many times.
He like immersed himself in the experience so fucking fast. I feel like he like wanted to break up before.
I feel like they were on the, like, they were gonna
I think
break
so.
up,
like they were having issues already.
Yeah.
And then basically he had his eyes on Ray.
Yeah.
And then they got along so well. So they, of course, they were the very obvious match.
Yeah.
So they matched. They seemed to have very few problems. Mm-hmm. And they were very like,
but this is it too. It's like, what problems are going to get in 3 weeks?
This is what I'm saying. You're on a show. That's why I'm like, all these fights, I'm like, oh my God, like, really?
Yeah. Like, it's like such bullshit because, like, you're on the show, like, you're not even you're in a hotel. Yeah. Like, you're put up in this, like, beautiful room.
Weren't they living in, like, their, like, apartments or no?
No, it was, like, residences.
Okay, I don't know. Okay.
It was, like, hotel residences, from my understanding. And, like, they're not even in their own place. Maybe they're still going to work during the week or something. I don't know. But, like, other than that, it's like, what are you going to fight about in 3 weeks? Like, in 3 weeks, I could be on my best behavior.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
you might not see the real me until, like, like, not that I would be, like, you know.
But that's the thing, when you meet someone just naturally, not that you're even trying, but naturally, you kind of behave, a little bit different.
Yeah,
because you don't know them. You just met this person.
And you want them to like you.
Exactly. So it's like, you're not going to act like, I don't know, once you become comfortable, that's when your, like, true side might come out.
Exactly.
But most of the time, when you first initially meet somebody, you're not going to act like, whatever, like, which is why most of the couples, like, in those 3 weeks, they didn't have that many problems.
Yeah.
Like, they were all like, oh my God, I want to run away with this person. Like, meh. So anyways, April and Jake, everything was fantastic. Everything's great. Not April, Jake and Ray.
Jake and Ray, yeah. So then
but April went off with Colby.
Yeah.
They were like the leftovers.
They were. They were just like, oh, we should just do this experiment together. And
because April wanted to go with who?
Hunter.
But then Hunter proposed to what's her face? I can't remember. Oh, Alexis.
Yeah.
And so April basically didn't have a partner.
Yeah.
And Colby and because Colby's a choice
was Lauren,
and
Yeah.
she got engaged.
So him and
then April and April and Colby.
Yeah.
They went off together.
Yeah.
Let's talk about April and Colby.
You mean Colby and Madlyn?
Okay, well, first we have to talk about April and Colby.
What is there to talk about? They didn't
That's
really do
true. They weren't very interesting.
They basically like were together for not even together. They were just like
they really weren't like they seemed just like friends.
Yeah, they were just like friends. They were just doing that.
Colby's so fucking insufferable.
I know.
At the end, Colby's like, so again, at very end, they're like having dinner or something. Oh no, after they do the 3-week trial marriage.
Yeah.
They have like a dinner before they go off with their original, partners. And Colby like said something and Madlyn was very in her right to say what she said. Basically, Colby was like, oh, April became a woman in the last 3 weeks. Do you not remember this?
Yes, I do remember. And then she's like, bitch, you take her
Yeah,
virginity or something?
And then Madlyn's just like, yeah, what'd you do? Take her virginity? What did you do? Did she get her period? And even if she did, why are you taking credit for that? It's so narcissistic. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. But not only that, because Colby was matched with the convenience of April, like not even like they hadn't picked each other. He tries to justify then going out to the club, meeting some random girl and trying to have the experience with her.
Right. So he basically cheated on Madlyn.
Yeah.
So so now we're going to jump into Madlyn and Colby.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get another drink first. Would you like another?
Oh, God damn, Roses, you be an angel.
So
Madlyn and Colby.
Oh my God. The fucking dysfunctional couple. If I ever saw one. What do we think of Madlyn?
Well, the thing with Madlyn, like one thing that I noticed with her, like, and I don't know if it's just the way that she looks and stuff, but she always looks like she's looking like
she's uninterested in everything.
Yeah, she's just very like, her eyes are kind of like, they're pointing up always.
She has a little bit of ceiling eye.
Yes.
Yes. But also I think it's just, she's like bored. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like her face or like she's just bored.
She just seemed like wasn't into anything. And she was like.
Especially in the very beginning. I found that the first half, she literally seemed uninterested in anything, especially to do with Colby.
Yeah.
Colby's like, I'm so in love with Madlyn. Oh my God.
I knew as soon as she walked into that bar.
Just so fucking dramatic.
Yeah.
And then she's just like rolling her eyes. I feel like I would be like Madlyn.
Yeah. Colby was so extra though. He was like very like.
He was so, oh God.
Because he was like he's like one of those like bros that like thinks he's in love.
Yes.
And is like so putting his love on this like crazy pedestal.
Yes.
When it doesn't actually like.
And putting Madlyn on that pedestal.
Yeah. Putting everything up on there. But then also on this flip side,
being a fucking douche.
Still being a douche to her and to like, this whole experience, and yet wonders why this situation gets fucked up.
Yeah. Like he's so manipulative.
Oh.
Like I feel like he literally is not genuine. Like,
well,
even in the beginning, right?
Yeah. Even when there was like a conversation where the boys all went out. Again, this is so weird. And they're talking about dating each other's girls, which is really fucked up.
So weird.
And Zay, one of the guys that was there.
Right.
Colby,
you guys need to watch the show to make this
I know.
Make sense.
Colby was like talking about this night that Zay and him went out to the club, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Zay whispered into this girl's ear, and then the girl came over and made out with me." And then and then Zay's like, "Are you like blaming me for this girl coming and making out with you?" He's like, "Well, yeah, you said something to her." And he was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like I didn't do anything. Like that was your choice."
Yeah.
Like, don't put this on me.
It's like he was trying to, after the fact, he was trying to like make it, twist the facts to make it seem like he wasn't at fault for basically cheating on Madlyn. Because the thing is, they call each other exes, but really you're not broken up, right?
Yeah.
So the only thing that you're supposed to do is live with like this other partner that you chose. I don't think, unless they've decided, agreed upon beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't think that it was, in the show's like notes that you are basically a free person and you can just make out with whoever.
It wasn't. And it was funny because like after the 3 weeks of the trial marriage, then you go back to your partner for 3 weeks to see if you actually want to get married at the end. And so Colby and Madlyn got back together. And honestly, she found all these text messages on his phone from this other woman that wasn't even part of the show and was like, what the fuck is this? And then he like tried to twist it and put it on her. He's like, you were getting such an authentic experience from this. And like, I wanted that same authentic experience.
No, he didn't even say it like that. He said, I did it for you.
Oh, yeah.
I did it because you wanted me to have an authentic experience.
Yeah. I did it for you, Rose. Yeah. I did it for you.
Literally, that was his whole shtick. He's like, yeah, I did it because because I needed to make this experience real for you. And she was like, but I only saw these messages because I went through your phone.
Yeah.
So why is it for me? And he just never admitted that he just did it.
No.
Like,
and he never even apologized or anything.
Well, apparently off camera, of course, it's always off camera, isn't it?
He apologized.
Apparently.
Well, that's
and he owned up to it. So again, they're not I don't believe them. Like, so at the end, they get engaged and they get fucking married on the spot.
Yep.
I have so many problems with this. First of all, they should definitely not have been married. But at the same time, I don't think that their relationship that they portrayed was genuine.
Yeah.
Because Madlyn also, she, again, in the beginning, very uninterested. Seems like she's not into Colby at all. Like, not wanting it. And then also when she's so Madlyn gets matched up with
Randall.
Yeah. And she's like fucking fully in love with Randall. She's like, oh my God, Randall, me. And then she goes back with Colby.
Yeah.
When she's with Randall, she seems to like not even think about Colby. Okay?
No, she keeps, and she's so funny too.
She's kind of hilarious.
She gets drunk a lot as well.
She's so funny.
And she was like, me and Randall, we just need to, I'm a very physical person.
Yes.
And I just crave that physical touch and physical energy,
I just need to be intimate.
Yeah, I just really, I'm just craving that intimacy with Randall. And I need it. Like, that's my love language. I need to be touched and, I taken over and thrown on the table, Like, she didn't say it exactly like that, but basically that's what she was insinuating. Like, she's like, I need to sleep with Randall, basically.
Yes.
Which basically. I don't blame her. I mean, I wanted to sleep with Randall.
Randall was very hot.
Oh, God, he was a hot chocolate man.
We will get to Randall in a second.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so initially she's like, seems very uninterested. And then I swear to God, when they flip back to Colby, she all of a sudden just like flips. Like, she becomes very different.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. And then Colby seems very like again, he acts all distant and weird.
Yeah.
When like previously he was acting all like, but maybe they have that like weird dynamic where like one person chases and the other person pulls away. Like, I feel like maybe that's part of it. Yeah. But either way, they seem like to have this like super fucking...
They were acting.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm like, are you acting? Like, what's happening? So then they have this like crazy like fight. They have multiple crazy fights.
Yeah.
Clearly they're not on the same page. This guy is clearly a fucking narcissist.
Oh, God.
And then they get up there and then he proposes. And then she says yes.
I know.
And then he's like, I have another thing to ask you. What if we get married right now? And I feel like that was another way of him to trap her.
Yeah.
He was fucking trapping her because she's all, high on the love juice. I swear he fucking slipped a love potion.
Yep.
The night before.
He got some of the serum that they're pumping out in the Love is Blind episodes.
He slipped a love potion. Because what the fuck? Okay. Yeah. And then they get married on the spot.
Yep.
There's no way in hell.
And she shows up at the reunion pregnant.
She showed up at the reunion pregnant. That killed me.
I know.
I was like, no way. Another reason why I'm like, I don't believe this couple.
I know. I honestly think they never like, I feel like with their couple especially, I think that was all a game for them. Like they had said from the beginning, they didn't even want to issue the ultimatum. They wanted to be on the show.
Yes.
So Colby.
I don't believe Madlyn.
I know.
She was so hesitant.
Yeah. And I think Colby was like, let's get on this show. I'll pretend to be like the ultimatum, and let's just go along with it. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, that's great. We'll get 100,000 Instagram followers.
Yes.
Brand deals, all this stuff. Yeah. So I just, again, I feel like
it's a great business model.
Yeah. The authenticity, was it there?
Yeah. Because at first I thought Madlyn was like maybe kind of authentic. I don't know. Yeah. I did really enjoy her drunken like rants.
Oh my God. The best is when she was like to Shaynique, she's like, I made out with Randall. I kissed him. His boner touched my leg. And Shaynique was like, bitch, better stop. I'm going to pop the bitch over this table.
Shaynique was ready to kill this bitch.
I know. And you should have seen her face the whole time. She was just like this. Yeah. Madeline's like, yeah, I kissed Randall. It was amazing. Oh my God.
Randall's so sexy.
I just need to get physical with him. Oh, Randall.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So speaking of Randall and Shaynique.
Yes. Oh. Well, Randall and Shaynique.
The most beautiful couple I've ever seen.
They are like literally like.
How are they so good looking?
I know. Both of them are so fucking attractive.
Yeah.
I'm like, they need to be models. They probably are. Like, I think that.
I know. This is why they're on the show.
Exactly. Like, they are fucking gorgeous. But again, should they have been together? Questionable.
No. None of these people should have been together. But again, we don't know how much of it was acting.
Exactly.
Again, so Shaynique issued the ultimatum to Randall.
Yeah.
Again, they're like babies. I don't know how old they are. How old are they?
She was like 24 or 25, and I think he was
so
26.
Young. I'm like, of course, like, fucking live your life, bitch.
I know. I'm like, I don't get why you're in a good, like, if you're in a good relationship, like, I don't get the, like, it's different. Like you said, if you've been with someone for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So Shaynique is 24, Randall's 26. Like.
I know. It's ridiculous. So Shaynique is so good looking.
Yeah. She is. She's like,
I was very mesmerized by how good looking she was.
She was just like, so, like, she's one of those people that's just like.
And it's almost like she's so good looking that I feel like her behavior almost, like, her looks almost mask a little bit of her, like, shitty fucking behavior.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Because her personality, I think, has to be my least favorite.
Oh, yeah. Her personality, especially among the girls.
Just everyone, even with the guys. Like, she was so immature.
Yeah.
And she was so annoying.
Well, she was very, like, confrontational in a sense.
And also
like
insecure.
Yeah. But I think maybe because, like, I don't know, like, because I remember her with Randall, many discussions that they'd have, and he was like trying to have like a conversation with her, like, hey, let's talk about this. And she would just be like,
away.
She'd be like, no.
Yeah. She's like, why don't you just, and she'll just say stupid things like, why don't you just go make out with Madlyn? You know, like shit like that. Like, she'll just like say snarky little like childish comments.
Well, and the best was when they met up, right?
Oh.
And they went for dinner. And they were leaving and they were like fighting outside the restaurant. And she was like, Randall was like, okay, like, you brought me on this show. I didn't want to be on here.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm trying to live this experience to the, you know, I'm trying to get the most out of this experience, you know? And like, you know, what are you doing? Like, why are you getting mad about this? And she's like, he's like, what do you want me to do? Sit in a corner and do nothing, cry? Yeah. And she's like, yeah, that's what I want you to do. I want you to sit in the corner for 3 weeks and cry because you're not with me. And he was like, you're being so immature. I'm not being immature. You are.
Basically, she wanted him to like worship the ground that she walks on.
Yeah.
And if he, you know, actually lived this experience, she got so mad.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, how dare you? And like, she would just say little things that showed me that she was so insecure, which is so crazy. But at the same time, we know that, you know, being good looking doesn't mean that you're not insecure.
Exactly.
But like, she would say things like, oh, like so she got matched up with Zay.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, you know, I felt a little boner.
Yeah.
You know, it just
when
feels,
we were cuddling.
Yeah, when we were cuddling, you know, and it's just a really nice compliment. I'm like, dude, he's a dude.
Exactly.
You're an attractive girl. Of course he has a boner. Like,
especially these like young guys. You like breathe on them the wrong way and they have a fucking boner,
like,
okay?
It's not really like that groundbreaking.
No.
They like make a big this is what I'm saying. They're
like,
so young.
I'm so attractive that I gave him a boner.
Yes. Oh my God. Like, he must think I'm so hot.
Like, I hate to break it to you, sweetie. You can get a boner real easy, okay?
Like, you are hot, honey, but like at the same time, you know, it's not that big of a deal that he got a boner.
Exactly.
Okay?
But she did make a big deal of that. Hey?
They all kept making a big deal about the fucking boner.
I know. They're like, oh my God, I felt his boner on my leg.
I heard that you got a boner.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, like, guys, this
like,
is
can you fucking chill?
You're kids.
I know, you are children. Of course you get a boner. You just fucking walk past them.
I know. Like, honestly. Fuck.
Oh my God. So anyways, Shaynique, literally, I really think that like for like a little bit, I was like, she's so hot that I was just like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. I feel like there's like this bias where you look at someone that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you just think they're like a good person. Like there's definitely some kind of
we have a subconscious bias for sure.
Yes. So I was like, oh, okay, she's not that bad. And then she kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Oh, she got worse progressively. Because at the beginning of the show, she wasn't so bad. And then literally as the show went on, it got worse and worse. And then when she did have those confrontations with Randall, like,
oh my God,
at least I'm not saying Randall's an angel, but like
Randall
at least
was like decent. I think he was like, his personality was like my favorite out of the guys.
He would try to talk about it. He's like, hey, let's have a conversation about this. Like, let's talk about this. And she'd be like, no. Go make out with Madlyn.
Yeah.
Go cry in a corner for 3 weeks and just worship me and worry about me. Like, and I was like, is this bitch for real?
I know. And even when she was fighting with Zay too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Zay wasn't perfect.
No.
But okay, what else? Should we talk about the last couple?
Yeah.
Zay and Ray.
Yeah, Zay and Ray. Ray.
What do we think of Ray and Zay?
I honestly think, and this is, again, guys, not to like diminish their relationship, but like from my perspective, I feel like they're two college buddies.
Oh.
That got together.
Shut up.
And they basically...
You think they're not even together?
No. I think they're together. But
Okay,
I think that they're young. Well, they're all these people are fucking young. But I think that like their chemistry seemed more like they didn't really have a relationship per se. It was more sexual.
Yes, they were
like,
very heavy on the sexual.
Yeah, like huge. Like Ray was like, we have sex all the time, and you could just tell. Like even when Ray's like, I don't want to talk about this, but I'll show you. You know, like it felt like felt like a very like it was just a very physical relationship. Whereas I feel like it didn't have much substance above that.
Yes,
like
and she didn't try to. That was the weird thing because Ray was the one that brought Zay onto this ultimatum.
Yeah,
but then
she didn't really try.
I know, and she didn't even seem like she wanted to get married. Period.
I know. She was like, "Oh, I'm just so unsure." But then she's the one that had issued the ultimatum, and I was like, "Okay, this is fucking weird."
She was like, "I want to go on a reality show."
But that's exactly it.
Exactly.
So
yeah, Ray was interesting, but no, she wasn't really interesting. She was just kind of like there.
Yeah,
like she wasn't problematic, really.
No, she wasn't. She didn't like seem to start a lot of fights.
But she was also not like, I don't know.
Yeah,
she was in. Yeah.
I don't know, and Zay was actually a really interesting character.
Oh, Zay was very interesting.
Because like, you know, you found out later when he went to Shaynique's family's like dinner and stuff. Like, I guess he came from like quite a broken home.
Yeah.
So you find out a lot more about him. Yeah, like, and I think.
So he had some like unresolved trauma.
Yeah.
And some family issues, which obviously is very difficult, especially in relationships. But the thing is, I felt bad for him because I felt like he was trying, even like in that initial dinner when he was having dinner with Ray before they got broken up.
Yeah.
He was trying to get her to like, you know, open up a little bit and talk to him.
He was like, speak to me. Just like, tell me what you're feeling. You know?
Then she was like shut down and she like would not say like how she feels about him.
Yeah.
And then so obviously he's getting frustrated and it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. And yet she's the one that wants to get married and issued the ultimatum. Like it literally makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Like,
I know.
Why are you issuing an ultimatum when you're not even trying in the relationship?
Yeah. And then later she was saying how, oh, I didn't want to open up because I feel like I always get shut down. And I'm like, okay, so don't you want to work on that before you get married?
Yeah.
I don't understand these
But like
people.
this is what I don't get. It's like those couples that are like, oh my God, our relationship is so rocky right now. We should have kids. That's what I feel like these kids are doing. Yeah. They're like, oh, our relationships aren't great.
Think so. Yeah.
I think a lot of people do this though.
They like, think that a marriage will fix it.
Exactly. They're like, our relationship isn't great right now. What will fix this is let's get married, commit to each other, and all our problems will magically go away.
Exactly.
But I think that is literally what people believe.
Because they think that marriage is this like magic pill. Yeah. So once they get married, all of a sudden, because you have to commit to each other, you just will.
Because I think that's part of the reason why a lot of these people, if they even did issue an ultimatum, or if it's, like, they want to get on the show, but I think that's part of the reason why these people issued an ultimatum is because in their mind they're like, our relationship is fucked because every single relationship on that show was fucked.
It's literally fucked.
And they're thinking, hey, we get married, all our problems solved.
Exactly.
But
it's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's literally the dumbest shit I've ever seen. So Ray and Zay, went off to their partners. So Zay got matched with Shaynique.
Yep.
Another hot black couple. Goddamn. Yeah. Black people on the show, goddamn hot.
I know.
They didn't have any Asians. Like, fuck. Well, I guess, what's her face?
April.
Yeah, but she was like half Asian or something. They gotta get some full Asians in there, you know? Anyway, maybe I'll go on the show.
Yeah.
I'll issue you an ultimatum.
Oh, god dang. Anyway, I think they'll know.
Can you act straight for We have enough pictures to like act like we're a couple, you know?
That's true. We're like, oh, we travel everywhere.
We'll just have to delete this podcast.
Remove all evidence.
Anyways, so Zay and Shaynique get I can't even talk now. I'm pretty drunk. And then who? Ray and who?
Ray and Jake.
Ray and Jake. So again, Ray and Jake, as we discussed before, they're like
connected,
all in love. Oh my god, we have so much in common.
Yeah.
And then Zay and Shaynique were really weird.
I know they fucked though.
They totally fucked, and it was so awkward.
I know because you could see it, and like,
so
and
do
she
they just
did
have
it
cameras
in the bedroom. Yeah. So the thing is, the only reason I think they had sex. Well, guys, again, speculation. Something happened in that bedroom.
We think they
we think they
did
fucked.
the dirty,
and it was because it was after like she found out about Madlyn and Randall, and she was like, well, now I have to live the full experience and I have to do this. And then they're like sitting having this deep emotional talk, and then she's like, should we just head back to the place?
Yeah. And then he's like kind of giggling.
Yeah, he's like, all right.
He's like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
Finally. Before that, she was like very, oh, you sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want to sleep. You know, like she was very conservative about the thing, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
And like, she didn't seem to want to like do anything with him. Whereas a lot of other couples were already like making out and like, you know.
I don't know if anyone else fucked though. Do you think, oh no, Ray and Jake probably did.
I think they probably did.
Yeah.
They probably did. I mean, we don't know.
April and Colby didn't probably. No. But he did say he made her a woman.
Oh my god! Honestly,
or she became a woman or something. I don't know.
Fucking fucking stupid.
So arrogant.
And also, like, we didn't even get anything from that couple. So I was like, when they were saying about how it's so transformative, like, oh my God, 3 weeks, I learned so much. I was like, what the fuck did you learn?
I know. It's
like, I'm sorry. Like,
I don't think we didn't see much from them because they were like the least
interesting.
Yeah.
So anyways, Shaynique and Zay, pretty sure they did the dirty under the covers.
Yep.
That was a bit awkward. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, there was some movement going on.
But then they were like fighting about random shit too.
Yeah.
Like there was like a moment where Zay was explaining what happened in the night. I think he was explaining the fight with him and Colby.
Yeah, he was talking about him and Colby.
And then like also, I mean, I was kind of annoyed at Shaynique too because she just kept making these faces.
Yeah.
That like I feel like if I was telling a story and I was being genuine, and then Shaynique was just making all these judgmental faces, I would be pissed too if somebody was.
I know, and she's like, I'm just making faces.
Yeah, she's like, am I not allowed to make a face?
I'm just responding to your story.
Yeah.
With my face. It's like, bitch, I want to slap your face right now.
I'd be like, why are you making that fucking face?
I know. Your face does say it's expressive.
It's a language. Like, it's a way of speaking.
It's like if you look at someone, they give you like an angry face. You're like,
exactly.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Like,
don't act like a face doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. Like, it's so stupid.
I know. I was so annoyed. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with her? So she was like making these fucking faces, and then like Zay called her out on it. Was like, okay, you're making me feel really uncomfortable. Like, you're making these faces. Like, what are you? She's like, am I not even allowed to make a face? And then they have this like fight.
Huge fight.
And then she's like, don't raise your voice at me. Don't yell at me. He wasn't yelling. Okay.
He was talking.
He was talking a little bit loudly, but not like yelling. Like that definitely was not my definition.
Like, don't yell at me.
And then they like it escalated into something it shouldn't have. And then he left for a bit, came back and apologized to her, and she didn't say anything.
I know.
Fucking hell!
But that's what she expects from men. Like she expects them to come back.
I feel like she's
and
like a female version of a narcissist. Like she's a female narcissist.
Yeah, she's like the female version of Colby.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like she's like everything revolves around her.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be about her, and she can never do any wrong. And even Randall, the way that he was explaining her was like, yeah, she can never do anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's always about her, you know, and like she doesn't really consider other people.
And do you think she learned from the experiment?
Well, she got exactly what she wanted, like she, I'm sure, always does.
Yeah.
You know, and you could tell her dad, like he probably just gave her everything that she ever wanted. You know, the two daughters. She's like, oh, as a father, what? You know, of course I question why a man wouldn't want to marry my daughter. Bitch, they've been dating for a year.
I know.
Or 2 years. Like, calm
Give
down.
them some time.
Like
this is a life decision. Exactly. Like I don't get why people are like, you need to know in a year.
And it's not like he said, I don't ever want to marry you. He just said, I need some time.
But people were making such a big deal of it. Like, what? How do you not know? My daughter's amazing. Like, why do you not want to marry her right this second? I could meet someone next
week and think they're amazing. That doesn't mean I'm going to marry them.
Exactly.
Oh
Because this is a life. This is like one of the biggest decisions.
Irrational.
I know. Like, this is one of the biggest decisions you're going to make in your life. Like, you do not do that in like a year, especially, you know, like we all know the stat is like, it might even be higher now, but it's like 50% or something of marriages end in divorce. It's like, if you don't want to be another statistic, you take your time and you like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying there's like a perfect time frame, and there are people that get married after 3 months and have like this amazing marriage and never get divorced. But like the reality is that's like the exception to the rule, and like you need time. This is a fucking huge decision, and I'm like, I just don't get why these like young children are like, I need to have kids right now. I need to get married right now. Like you said, if you're in your 30s and you've been with somebody for like 10 years, I can start to understand why maybe you're like, hey, like I do want to get married. I love this person. We've been together for 10 years. Like that makes sense to me. Yeah. But this show.
I know. And also
I was shocked that everyone had been together for like 2 years.
I know. And also they say that, I don't know the numbers, but the divorce rate is much higher amongst people that are like in their maybe early 20s to mid 20s versus people that get married maybe in their late 20s. Yeah. I don't know the numbers, but like that's for sure. Yeah. Because I mean, it shouldn't be a shock to anybody. Yeah. Of course. Because y'all are fucking immature as shit as seen by this show.
Oh my God. It's so ridiculous.
Oh God. So anyway, Shaynique was like a fucking disaster, and I was so annoyed with her like the entire time.
I know, it was so disappointing because I was like, again,
she's so hot.
I was like super attracted to her. I was like,
she was
holy
so
fuck.
hot. I was like, why are you so good looking? But I think maybe because she's so hot, she always got what she wanted, you know?
Yeah. And I think that it's unfortunate because, you know, I know people that are really hot and like, you know, are gorgeous on the inside and out, like you, Rose.
God damn. It only took 2 drinks.
I'm getting some brownie points. But like, this is the reality.
I was an ugly duckling, you know. My character development happened when I wasn't as hot.
And then you grew into your looks.
Exactly.
There you go.
So I have the best of. See, here's the thing, guys. Always go for the people that when they were young, they were not as good looking.
Yeah, it's like the same for like, you know, if there was like a guy that was like maybe
Exactly.
overweight, had a lot of acne in school, and then like grew up, got into fitness, becomes this like fucking hot ass motherfucker.
Yes.
And yet they have this like inside them.
Where they're like humble.
A little bit nerdy.
Exactly.
Because they like, you know, they
And
you know,
they worked for their looks, like
Yeah.
they worked for it.
Yeah.
See? That's what I'm
That's the
saying.
gem. I really want to find myself like a hot nerd.
Yes.
That was like
Put
not,
it out there, Daniel. Put
not
it
hot in
into the
school.
universe.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there,
Yes,
guys.
Guys, anyone that peaked in high, or not even just peaked in high school, but anyone that was like already attractive as a young age, they did not have time to develop a personality. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, Shaynique, I'm sorry, she did not really have a personality.
No, and it was disappointing because I was like, I love people like when you see people that are like attractive on the inside and out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's like the golden
Right.
ticket. But like you're right. So many people are like,
Yeah.
like her. I was just like, oh god,
I know, she
it's
was the
so
worst.
she went from a 10 to like a 3.
Like literally though, because
Yeah.
of her personality. Like
Yeah.
it was again though, it could have been the editing. Like who knows?
could- yeah,
Okay,
exactly,
We don't know.
like-
We're just basing on what we saw on the show.
Exactly.
Anyways, they were on the reunion. They seemed, you know, like normal.
Somewhat happy. Laura.
Oh, they broke up. They said.
yeah, they broke up.
So
and then
after they
back
got
together.
engaged, they broke up for a while. They
Yeah.
were like, okay, actually, we have issues. Thank God they realized that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh man, when they got engaged, I was like, this is fucked.
Yeah.
And then I guess they broke up and then they were like, okay, let's try it again. Don't see it lasting, but, you know, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, you know, good luck to them. They're very good looking. Maybe they'll develop some, you know, better, you know, personality. You know, Randall was not bad. I felt like his personality was okay.
I think out of everyone on the show, like for
He was the most calm, and I like that he was like chill. Like even when people were going crazy around him, like literally everyone was fucking going crazy.
He was just like,
he seemed kind of chill,
Yeah.
like, you know, trying to calm people down, which I like that like quality in a guy.
Yeah.
Whereas Zay, let's talk about Zay now. He again though he has like a lot of trauma, so I
Yeah.
feel like I felt kind of bad for him.
he went through a lot.
But he definitely had a little bit of a temper situation.
Oh yeah, he did. He had a temper. Like
Yes.
he could get fired up. He was trying to work on it though, because at one point he's like, Randall, we need to move seats because I'm about to punch this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, when him and Colby were fighting.
Oh, is that his way of working it out?
Yeah.
Yes. I guess so, because he's like trying to control himself.
He's trying to like control himself a bit better, but
and
I
like
think
he could have been worse. Like
Yeah.
I felt like he was very reactive. Like
Yeah.
he was very reactive. Like he couldn't control his like emotions at that time.
yeah.
And
And he would always like talk over people and like, because I remember
Right.
like him and Ray's family were like having dinner or something.
Oh, that was so uncomfortable.
And then he was like, they just started arguing at the table and they just wouldn't stop. And I was like, oh my God, like this is like my biggest nightmare.
Oh my God, I would never be able to argue like that with like my, you know, like in-laws, I guess is what you call them.
Yeah.
Because he was having dinner or having lunch with Ray's like mom and her
arguing with
sister,
her.
and like full on arguing and like kind of yelling at her.
Yeah.
I would never. But again, like maybe because he never, you know, grew up in a stable house. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like, man, that was like, holy shit. I was so uncomfortable.
I was like, oh God,
Like,
what is going on?
Holy fuck. I would have been punched in the face.
God
if I tried to
damn,
pull that
Rose.
shit. God,
God
damn. Like that's so disrespectful. You
It
know what
is.
I'm saying?
It's like yeah, I don't know.
like I get it. I'm not saying everyone deserves your respect, but like
Yeah.
you don't snap at your in-laws. Like I mean at anyone really, but
Unless your
especially
in-laws be cray.
that's true. Yeah, if they're being cray cray, then
Yeah.
like you can be cray cray. But like they were not being that cray cray.
Yeah.
They
Like,
were being very you know normal.
I watched this show. It was called like, have you heard of 90 Day Fiance?
Of course, we talk about it all the time, Daniel.
Yes. But
Why do you forget these things?
I don't forget them. I did forget it for a second. I'm drunk.
Uh-huh.
But basically there was one couple on there and they were like, she was married to this guy and I think he was from Samoa or something.
Okay.
And his family was like, they lived in like close to them. They were all in the US and stuff. And his family, like, I guess it's Samoan culture, like that if you're like doing well and stuff, you give money to your family, like you give like money to your parents
Right.
and like
Sure,
stuff
sure,
like
sure.
that. And because I guess it's quite a poor country, so a
Yeah.
lot of people will be in the US and like giving money over. Anyway, the wife, she basically met with the mom and the sister and was like, hey guys, like we can't really afford, like we're trying to raise 2 kids. Like we don't have money to be like giving you like so much money.
Right.
And then the mom was just like, I just need money. And she was like getting crazy. And she's like,
Oh my God.
and she was like, oh my God, like what do I say to these
Yeah.
people? Right? Like she's like, we can't afford to give you money. Like,
Yeah.
like, cause they were expecting a lot.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
So-
also fucked up.
I know.
There's a lot of fucked up things about like in-law culture as well.
Oh God.
Yeah, especially in these like more traditional countries, like even in Korea,
Hmm.
like in-laws. Oh, whew, that's a drama on its own.
Is it a Korean drama?
I mean, it should be. I'm sure they're featured in a lot of dramas.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
I could imagine.
Yeah. Anyways, so.
But yeah, overall thoughts on the show, Rose.
Well, we have to talk about what happened with Zay and Ray.
Oh, right. Zay and Ray.
So Zay and Ray.
Yeah.
So when they get back, honestly, they look like they just hate each other. Like, I don't even understand this couple.
Again, like I told you, I think that was just purely physical.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have anything outside of that. They tried to build a relationship on that.
I think you might be right. So basically what happened was like, at the very end, they found out, what did she find out? What were they arguing about that made Zay walk out on her again? Oh God, what was it?
I can't remember now, but they had like a big argument about something.
Yeah, was it about pictures or was it maybe?
The fact that maybe he doesn't have her on his Instagram and like no, that was a different fight.
They fought over something. Okay, they fought over something, and Zay got really upset. Oh, I think it's because Ray just kept saying how like she would rather be with like Jake kind of, and she basically, I think she basically said, "I'm not gonna like leave with you."
Yeah.
To Zay, and Zay at this point was like ready to marry her.
Yeah.
So he was like kind of pouring his heart out in his own special way.
Yeah.
And then Ray was basically like, I'm not going to leave with you.
Yeah.
So I think he was obviously heartbroken and he doesn't know how to process that.
Yeah.
So instead of, being mature, he walked out and because she wanted to talk about it. She wasn't fully being like, I'm not going to marry you or whatever. She was just like, and then he didn't want to talk. So him and Shaynique were basically like the same person, just in different genders. Okay. Because Shaynique, anytime there'd be a fight, she'd just be like, no, I'm not going to talk about it.
No.
And then, anyway, so Zay walked off, spent the night, God knows where, at a friend's apparently, but we don't know. Okay. Yeah. So he was out all night, came home at 8 a.m, but, Ray was trying to contact him the entire night and he was not picking up. His phone was off, like whatever. And then, so basically when he came back, Ray was like, I'm done. And then they broke up.
Yeah.
And then.
God damn.
So basically, when Jake and April, so far we've discussed that Shaynique and Randall, they got engaged, but then they didn't actually like, after the show, apparently they broke up.
Got back together.
And then fucking Colby and Madlyn got engaged, married, and now they have a baby on the way.
Yeah.
And then, what happened? And then Shaynique and Randall got engaged. Oh, we already talked about that. Who else?
Then we had April and Jake who split up. April was with another person now at this point who is ready to get married, apparently, and have kids. She's been with them for less than a year now because there's only a year gap between that. So good for you, April. I think it was like 6 months. Yeah, so she's been with someone for 6 months. He's ready to get married and have kids with her. Fantastic. Jake and Ray, Jake had offered Ray a trip. Like they were going to go on a trip together.
So when they broke up, when Jake and April met up for this ultimatum thing, Jake was like, I can't marry you. Yeah. And then right after he went to Ray.
But the funny thing is he said, I can't marry her, but don't worry, I'm not going to run off with Ray.
Everyone kept commenting on that.
I know. And then goes to Ray and is like, let's get plane tickets and travel the world together. I was like, fucking hell.
So he gave her plane tickets.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I want to go, blah, blah, blah.
They never ended up going.
And I guess they never ended up going.
Because they felt guilty and bad and whatever.
Well, and then I think Ray was trying to give it a go with Zay again, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. This we all found out at the reunion, which was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
And then Zay, what happened with Zay again? He's working on himself.
Yeah, he's working on himself. He wasn't really seeing anyone. Ray, on the other hand,
Ray kind of came out as bisexual.
Yeah, and was dating a woman.
Yeah.
And was really happy. So good for her.
So maybe she was never really into Zay because she wanted a woman.
Mm-hmm. Could be she wanted both. Maybe she just wanted one or the other.
She's and like, men be too much drama.
Mm-hmm. And then Nate and Lauren, they were back on the episode, and people had a lot to say about Nate and Lauren, and apparently they got counseling. They're seeing counselors, which I'm like, yeah, you definitely need to. But is that ever gonna
is it gonna fix the situation? Here's the thing, you have to. And then Nate just kept saying, oh, I realized that, I'd rather just be with Lauren and maybe not have kids than and I'm like, really?
But we'll have one kid.
I know. They're like, we came to a compromise. We'll have one kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Kids are not, people that, this fucking bothers me.
Yeah. People
that want kids, listen, a lot of people want kids. I'm not, but some people act like a kid is just a fucking, again, a milestone.
A gift from an angel.
Yeah. It's just we'll just have one. This is a commitment, a lifelong commitment, people.
I know. I'm like, what the?
This is literally why it bothers me so much when people are constantly trying to convince somebody that maybe not even if they're on the fence, I would not even convince them. I'd just be like, okay, you're on the fence. That itself is a no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But to me, that's a no. For example, if somebody wants a dog And if they're on the fence, to me, that's a no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, once they get one, they might take care of it, but there's a huge chance that they might not.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's just so bothersome.
It is. It is very bothersome. And like, I don't know.
And if they end up getting a child and they take care of the child, then that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But don't try to convince somebody. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's really fucking disturbing to me, especially if someone really wants a child and somebody that's like really not into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like fucking disturbing. Yeah. Anyways, there's a million other women that want children. Okay. But anyways, I guess Nate is obsessed with Lauren and they're going to have one child. That's their compromise. I like actually laughed when they said their compromise was one child.
Yeah. I was like, is that a compromise though? She didn't want any and you wanted them.
Exactly.
So...
And then let's see what happens once they have one child. You know, these men are very good at manipulation, apparently.
Yeah, and Nate, you could just tell, like he just seems like one of those.
Such an asshole.
Oh, he's just one of those guys that I know. Like, if I ever went on a date with that kind of guy, like I already know what the conversation would be like, and how arrogant he would be, and I'd be so turned off.
Yeah,
like
he's another. I felt like he was like physically like not bad looking, like he was good looking.
Yeah, they were all good looking.
But like as soon as he was like talking, I was like, oh, you're kind of a turn off.
He would be the kind of guy that like you know, it's kind of nice if a guy like pays, but he would make a big deal of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't worry, babe, I got this.
Yeah.
Like it just like make
Same
it.
Same thing with
cringe.
Colby.
Yeah,
they both have narcissist vibes.
Oh, but that's why he didn't want Lauren going with Colby because he's like, actually, Colby's so much like me.
Yeah.
She might fall in love with him.
Exactly.
God
like
damn.
Colby had such narcissist vibes.
Oh.
It was very like, I'm so in love with her. But then it was like not even about her.
I know. It was so
like
dumb.
It was all about how good of a person he is and like how amazing he is. Like, oh my God, I cheated on you for you.
Yeah. I slept with that girl, but it was for your benefit.
Oh my God.
It wasn't for me at all.
And like, is it just me or did he get less and less hot just throughout the entire
Oh, he
show?
did. In the beginning, I was like, oh, he's pretty good looking.
Damn, he's hot. And then like the more you watch it, you're just like, you are so not hot.
It's amazing how that happens. And this just shows you guys.
I know.
Personality does count. And
it counts a lot.
For those people that are super good looking but have shitty personalities, you go from a 10 to a 3.
You really do.
In my mind. Like
no, seriously, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your looks like only take you so far.
Exactly.
And
looks fade, people. Looks fade. So.
I mean, even like half the people, like even by the reunion, I was like, damn.
I mean, can we talk about what Jake did to his hair?
Oh my God, what did he do with his hair? I thought Jake was like one of the, like, I really liked the way Jake
looked. He looked
I
really
thought he was so cute and he was really attractive. And I mean, he didn't look that bad in the reunion. It was just his hair, right?
Yeah, his hair was like, he did something really weird with his hair.
He did like cornrows, I guess.
But then had like a weird piece that was like sticking out the front. And I was
it wasn't like a normal cornrow.
No.
Like it was like a weird, I think
it's because his hair was still really short. So he like tried to do cornrows. Like you need like longer hair, I think, to do cornrows.
Right.
Actually, I have no idea. So...
And then like Jake and April were like fighting and shit.
Oh yeah.
And then Zay and Ray were fighting and shit. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
God, that's so awkward.
Imagine
so sitting there. I would die.
I would also die. It was,
anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on the show? Overall?
I think overall, a lot of fakeness.
Yes.
We don't even know, like, again, guys.
We don't know what's real.
Exactly. You don't know what's real. And then also, like, my biggest takeaway from this whole show is like, oh my God, guys, you're in your 20s. You've been together with someone for a year. Chill the fuck out. Okay. Like, and to be with someone for only a year and already have all these fucking problems, like another.
And expectations.
Yeah. Another key takeaway is like, a marriage and children do not solve these relationship problems.
Yeah.
You need to work that shit out first before you move to the next step. And going on to a TV show where you break up, date someone else for 3 weeks, get back to your ex in 3 weeks, is not going to resolve your problems. Like, it's just not, you know?
I mean, clearly, well, apparently for Madlyn and Colby, it resolved everything. They have a baby on the way.
Yeah, but we don't know how much of that was real.
Yeah,
I think a lot
true.
of it was fake.
I think
them,
so.
You know?
I think so.
There's
just no way.
Yeah.
Like the way that Madlyn was acting, like she was literally, like she seemed very reasonable in a lot of times.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I was like, I kind of like this girl. Like she seems kind of reasonable. She's a little cray, you know?
Yeah.
But like a little bit reasonable.
Yeah.
But then like she completely did a 180 and was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to marry this guy that I'm so unsure about.
Yep.
It's like, okay, again, another thing. It's like marriage is not some kind of like prize or, you know, like what is it? Like a milestone that you have to hit. It's like you might want to find the right partner. Why are these people not focusing on finding the right partner? They're only focused on getting married.
I know. And it's like, even like April said, she's like, I just want to have kids and get married. If it's not with Jake, then someone else.
That's literally her only goal.
And I'm like, do you not want to actually find someone that you're like a partnership with, that you want to grow with?
Well,
like,
apparently she found one.
Yeah. Wow.
That's like so obsessed with her.
That they've been together for 6 months.
Oh
He's
my God,
ready
I
to have
actually
kids
cannot.
and everything else. And
I
I'm like,
cannot.
oh my God, I can't.
Oh,
but
God.
anyway, those are my biggest takeaways from it, guys.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen the show.
I hope you found this entertaining.
Yeah, now you don't have to. You can just watch this podcast.
It was a big mess, though. If you haven't seen the show, I feel like it's very, very confusing.
It is, because we're like, Ray, Zay, Randall,
I know the names are
Shaynique.
very confusing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think, take it with a pinch of salt, guys. Watch the show if you haven't. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it's good garbage
It's good
to have in the
trash
background.
TV.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had to fast forward a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, me too. Love is
Yeah.
Blind. Sometimes I had to like skip parts and stuff. I was like, this is
can we not?
because
Like,
there was like some scenes that really dragged on, and I was like, okay,
I was like, I really don't need to see the same argument over and over again.
Like, yeah.
And I really don't need to see Colby trying to teach fucking polo. Okay. I was like, fucking hell.
Oh my God, I know. But anyway,
guys, I hope you enjoyed this long episode.
yeah.
Make sure you go join us on Patreon because we're about to record our Patreon exclusive.
We are right now, patreon.com/the SaVeg Podcast. Also, guys, if you're watching this video on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Show us some love in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the episode. If you like these type of like reality show review episodes, they seem to be a big hit on our channel.
Apparently,
so
we need to do more of these.
Yes, apparently. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, on if you're listening to us on a podcast platform, don't forget to hit that follow. That just means that you get updated as soon as there's new episodes that we release every single week.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much
see
for
you
watching,
next
guys.
week.
Bye.